This is not a coincidence. Archangel Michael says, your ancestors marked this moment long ago, and now heaven is waiting at your door. There are divine timings in life that are so precise, they echo across generations. And this is one of them. The pull you've been feeling, the pressure building in your chest, the strange awareness that something big is about to shift, it's not imagination. It's a spiritual appointment written over your life before you ever took your first breath. Long before you arrived, someone in your bloodline prayed. Someone hoped for healing, for restoration, for change, but never lived to see it. And now, Archangel Michael confirms, you are the answer to that prayer. The one who would finally hear the call. The one who would awaken when others stayed asleep. You didn't choose this moment, it chose you. And heaven is watching to see how you will respond. You may not feel prepared. You may not even feel worthy. But worthiness was never the requirement. Willingness was. And right now, the door of divine opportunity is open. You've likely been sensing this shift already, through restlessness, dreams, divine numbers, unexplainable inner nudges. These are signals that heaven has aligned this specific time in your life with something far greater than what you can see. And your ancestors. They're watching too. Every pain they endured, every silence they carried, every battle they couldn't win, it wasn't wasted. It was stored. Stored in heaven. Stored in the timeline that leads to this moment. You may carry their DNA, but more importantly, you carry their unfinished hope. You are not just living your life. You are fulfilling a spiritual agreement. One that says, it ends here. The confusion ends. The generational cycles end. The spiritual delay ends. Because you are awake. Archangel Michael does not deliver ordinary messages. When he speaks, it's because something spiritual has reached a turning point. And that turning point is right outside your door. The energy you feel? That urge to change, to heal, to break patterns, to step out of the old and into the unknown? That's heaven calling. And not softly, loudly. With authority. With clarity. Because this is sacred timing, and heaven doesn't knock twice on the same door without purpose. You may be the first one in your family to hear this kind of message. The first to listen with spiritual ears. The first to pause and say, this feels deeper than coincidence. That's because you were born with a different spiritual code. A code that makes you sensitive to shifts in energy, patterns, timing. And now, that code is activating. You're being given access to clarity your ancestors never had. But it's not just for you. It's for everyone who came before you, and for everyone who will come after you. The pain you've carried, the burdens you've tried to hide, the emotional cycles you've silently battled, none of that was wasted. They were signs. Signs that your soul has been chosen to heal more than just your own timeline. You are the bridge between what was and what can be. And Michael says, you are strong enough for this. Not because of perfection. But because you have divine help standing at your side. Heaven never arrives without preparation. You may have noticed how things in your life started falling apart, slowing down, or shifting. That's not destruction, it's preparation. The breaking away of old foundations to make space for something new. Your ancestors marked this moment with their pain. Their hope. Their sacrifice. And now heaven honors that by giving you this divine appointment. But here's the truth, heaven is not forcing anything. Heaven is waiting. Heaven is waiting at your door, not to barge in, but to see if your spirit will answer. If your soul will say yes to what's next. Yes to alignment. Yes to healing. Yes to walking away from patterns that feel comfortable but lead nowhere. Archangel Michael reminds you, this is not just another season, it's a crossroads. What happens next is not just about opportunity, it's about obedience. And the reward isn't just in the future, it's in the peace that follows when your path finally aligns with divine timing. You are not here by accident. You are here because this is the moment your bloodline has been waiting for. The moment when someone finally listens. When someone finally speaks the prayers out loud. When someone finally breaks the silence. You are the one they were hoping for, and now heaven is confirming what your spirit already knows. This is the moment. Think about everything that had to happen for you to arrive at this point in your journey. The pain you endured. The people you lost. The breakdowns, the breakthroughs. The nights you questioned your own path. Every one of those moments led here. To this divine alignment. To this exact message. You didn't stumble upon this by luck, your spirit was pulled here because heaven needs your awareness now. Your ancestors already knew you would be the one who could handle this assignment, and that's why they marked it with their own soul's cry. You're not just hearing this message. You're remembering it. Your soul has been waiting to be reminded of what it already knows deep down. That you carry something sacred inside of you. That you were never meant to blend into the patterns of the past. That you are here to interrupt them. To become the first in a line of spiritual warriors who say, "This ends with me, and something new begins through me." Archangel Michael is not standing at your door with force, he's standing there with honor. Because the moment you say yes, you're not just stepping into your own destiny. You're stepping into a divine contract your ancestors signed in faith. A promise they made in tears. A hope they held on to even in the silence. And now, that hope is being fulfilled. Through your voice. Through your decisions. Through your willingness to embrace what others were too afraid to face. You may have felt alone lately, but you're anything but. The spiritual realm around you is stirring because your life is on the verge of a breakthrough. The signs you've been seeing, the repeating numbers, the unexpected pauses, the strange sense that something is watching over you, those aren't random. They are the result of heaven placing its full attention on your soul. And now, Archangel Michael is here to tell you, the door is open. But you must step through it with intention. Don't underestimate the small choices. The boundaries you set. The peace you choose. The prayers you speak when no one is watching. These are the tools heaven uses to shift bloodlines. You are being equipped without even realizing it. Every challenge you've faced has been training. Every moment of stillness has been preparation. And now the moment is here. The moment your ancestors saw in visions, prayed for in whispers, and marked in the spirit long before you were born. You have the authority to shift timelines. Not through force, but through alignment. Archangel Michael is not just protecting you, he's positioning you. So that your children, and their children, will look back and say, someone answered the call. Someone didn't run. Someone opened the door to heaven when it knocked. And everything changed from there. You might feel tired, emotionally drained, or unsure of what's ahead, but that's exactly when the shift begins. Divine purpose doesn't always arrive when you feel strong. Sometimes, it comes when you're weak. Because that's when you finally surrender. That's when the walls drop and the divine light can enter fully. Archangel Michael has seen this moment unfold across timelines. He knows the importance of this transition, not just for you, but for your entire lineage. What you heal today will ripple forward, unlocking blessings your descendants will live in, even if they never fully understand where it started. This is spiritual legacy in motion. And it begins with a quiet yes. A yes to divine timing. A yes to confronting what your ancestors couldn't. A yes to letting go of patterns that are too small for the spirit you carry. The shaking you feel inside is the weight of generations being shifted from your shoulders to heaven's. You are not meant to carry everything, only to recognize what no longer belongs in your future, and release it. Even the moments of silence you've endured, those seasons where God felt distant, were not abandonment. They were alignment. Heaven has been preparing your path, pruning distractions, and placing you in position. It's not a delay, it's divine pacing. And now, right here, this message is the spiritual signal that the waiting season is closing. The moment has arrived. Archangel Michael is a warrior, but he is also a messenger. And today, his message is sacred and clear: heaven is at your door. The energy around you is changing because the spiritual clock has struck a specific hour, one that was chosen not by accident, but by prophecy. And the fact that you can feel it means your spirit is ready to engage. Your life may still feel chaotic. You may not have the answers. But clarity often comes after obedience, not before. The next step is not about having it all figured out, it's about being willing to listen, respond, and trust. Because heaven will not wait forever. The door is open now. And this moment, this exact point in time, was written long before you ever existed in human form. Your ancestors saw this day in the spirit. And now you're living it in the natural. You are the bridge between prayers spoken in the dark and promises fulfilled in the light. You are the answer to a cry that came from a soul no longer on this earth. And Archangel Michael has come to remind you, the prophecy is active. You are not standing here by mistake. You are the one they were waiting for. The air around your life feels heavier lately because something holy is near. This weight isn't depression, it's divine pressure. It's the kind of spiritual gravity that surrounds moments of destiny. Heaven is standing at your threshold, waiting for your response, and the energy you feel is the presence of angels making room. Archangel Michael is not only delivering a message, he's preparing you. And this preparation is not for a blessing you'll earn, but for a birthright you were born to carry. Everything in your life that didn't make sense suddenly begins to align when you understand this. Your ancestors didn't just survive for themselves. They endured for you. They carried wounds they didn't know how to heal. They prayed prayers they didn't see answered. They faced battles they couldn't win, but they planted seeds in the spirit. And now you are standing in the field of what they sowed. You are not just someone watching a prophecy unfold, you are the fulfillment of it. You have likely spent much of your life feeling different. Misunderstood. Spiritually restless. Like you didn't fully belong to the environments you were born into. That wasn't rejection. It was spiritual insulation. You were being kept apart for a reason. Not to isolate you, but to preserve you. Because the anointing you carry couldn't afford to be diluted by the patterns you were sent to break. Archangel Michael has stood over your path for years, protecting what you didn't even know was sacred within you. You may not have had a perfect past. You may have made choices that still echo in your mind. But heaven doesn't choose the flawless, it chooses the faithful. And your willingness to listen right now proves that your heart is open. This is not about performance. It's about posture. A soul that leans toward the light will always attract divine instruction. And Archangel Michael doesn't knock unless something is ready to be unlocked. There's a quiet moment, just before change, that feels like nothing is happening. But that stillness? That silence? That's where spiritual momentum is born. It's the pause before the breakthrough. The inhale before the outpour. And right now, heaven is holding its breath with you, watching to see if you'll take the next step. Not a step in fear, but a step in trust. The legacy you carry is sacred. Not because it came easily, but because it cost your bloodline everything to reach this point. The tears they shed. The prayers they whispered into pillows. The sacrifices they made without seeing the reward. All of it is converging now, in you. This isn't just your moment. It's theirs, too. You are the answer they never got to meet. The victory they never got to see. The voice they never had. And now you've been given both the voice and the vision. What you do from here matters. The divine door is open. Heaven is still waiting. And the prophecy your ancestors marked is unfolding, one breath, one choice, one sacred moment at a time. That if this message stirred something deep within you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video so the algorithm doesn't silence what heaven is trying to reveal. Comment below with, "I receive this prophecy," speak it into the atmosphere. Share this message with someone whose spirit might be waiting to hear it. And if you feel led, tap super thanks. Every gift helps this divine message reach more souls who are searching for the light. And now, if your spirit knows you were guided here for a reason, if you feel heaven,